Hey everybody, it is Tuesday night. So we are here for some tough love tonight. So if you have been making excuses and your life has not changed, you're in the right place tonight. So if you are here, let me know that you're here. Let me know in the comments. I know I'm live on my Facebook group, in my Facebook page, and also on my YouTube channel. So wherever you are, go ahead and let me know in the comments. So tonight we're diving into excuses. I hear so many excuses about why we can't change our lives, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to really get to the deep root of what these excuses are really coming from. And I'm going to teach you basically how to overcome these excuses in order to really change your life. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Danielle Ingenito, and I'm the expert in healing after toxic relationships. I help women really awaken to their self-worth, to stop attracting toxic people into their lives, to create boundaries and heal their childhood. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight. I see everyone popping in. Hello, Claudia, Cheryl, Sherry. Hello, you're on Facebook. Thank you for letting me know. I do see your name. If you are in my group, please make sure that you write your name so that I know that it's you. I love you ladies as well. Tracy's here. Hello, namaste, my friend. Okay, your notifications are working. Awesome. Yeah, so if you are on YouTube, make sure that you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit the little bell notification so that you get live, or you get notified when I go live. I go live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are on Facebook, make sure that you turn all the notifications on, especially in the Facebook group, Turning Pain into Power. So who is ready to dive into these excuses? And before we do that, let me know, are you one to make excuses? And be really honest with yourself tonight, because if you're not honest with yourself, your life isn't going to change anyway. So get really honest with yourself, hold yourself accountable, and start to realize these little things that you're doing that is keeping you stuck wherever you are in your life. Hello, everybody. Lori, you found it. Awesome. All right. So I always got my notes, so I want to go through a little bit. So I labeled this like something when I announced it today, and I labeled it like why excuses are BS, right? They really are excuses. And we're going to get to the nitty gritty of why that is. Okay. So before we get into all of that, I want to go through a little bit, and I feel like we're going to have some big mindset shifts tonight. That's my goal. So I hope so. But I want you to think about this. So I want you guys to interact with me tonight, all right? So I'm going to ask you some questions. Let me know in the chat box what you guys are feeling. So tell me something here. I'm going to give you a couple of things. Do you feel as though so we all want to change something. So tell me in the comments, is it weight? Is it relationships? Is it job? Where do you feel stuck in life right now, so that I can kind of help you through this a little bit? So what is it in your life that you want to change? Where do you feel stuck in your life right now? Is it business? Is it relationships? Is it your body image? Anything else? Spirituality? Anything like that, just shoot it in the comments so that I can take a peek. Because what I'm going to tell you tonight is that whatever you're about to write in those comments, those are the little things. Even though we feel those are the big things, right? Everything that I just said to you, right? We think those are the big things. If we change those things, our life will change. And it's complete BS. It's complete BS. These little things, quote unquote, little things that feel like big things to us, that feel like the things that will change our lives, is actually the little stuff. And we need to go deeper. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So we've got all three. Catherine says she's making excuses lately. Claudia says, yes, I make excuses. Tomorrow's a new day is my excuse. Ooh, I like that one. So Sherry says, totally. Blanche, hello. Catherine, limited mindset, all three, body, all of the above, spirituality 2, waking up my life, no relationship, left my job in January, and I gained 5 pounds. Okay. So lots of stuff to change. Tonight, we're going tough love. So if you guys don't know, I have a spirit guide. His name is Andrew. If you don't know what spirit guides are, that's perfectly okay. You don't even have to believe in them. That's fine. but he gives a lot of tough love. So this morning when I was writing this, I was going to write about something completely different. And then he was like, nope, we got to talk about this. So we're giving you tough love tonight, and we're bringing the absolute truth. And basically, all of those things that you guys are struggling with, there's a deep root before any of that. So we think as humans that fixing those things is going to change our life. It's going to make us feel better. But the thing is that those excuses that we use for not, losing some weight, for not getting into a relationship or, attracting somebody that we want to be with, for not getting the promotion or getting the new job, right? There's a deep root. And what is it? We make these excuses because of fear. And that's really what we're going to dive into tonight, because I hear all of these excuses. Obviously, I have a program called From Pain to Power. I promote it, and I hear all of these excuses. I've had 100 people come through my little quizzes that I've had out, and they all have made excuses of not being able to get into the program and change their lives. Okay, so we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about the fear that is coming, the fear that is making you make those excuses. So I'm going to go through these fears, and I want you to see if you identify with any of them. All right. So the first thing here is, and before we get into this, I just want to say that this fear is our comfort zone. Okay. So our excuses keep us in our comfort zone because the fear is too much for us to handle. Who likes to be fearful, right? Who likes to be scared? Nobody really likes to be scared. Think of us as children, right? Like we never want to think of the ghost under the bed or being without our parents. So we never want to be scared. And that's our ego. So our ego is this little part of our mind that keeps us in our safe zone. And these excuses keep us in our safe zone. So the fears that I want to talk about tonight is, and I want you to think about this in all aspects of your life. So we make excuses because we are afraid to hurt someone. Think about that. Someone invites you to a party. You don't really want to go. It's not going to be any fun. What do? You make an excuse because you don't want to hurt the other person's feeling by just saying, yeah, I don't think I'm into that, right? So we make excuses because we don't want to hurt other people. I see over here, business relationships, self-sabotage. Mine is a mental block with work. Relationships, weight, self-sabotage. Hello, exactly. Awesome. Okay. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. So let me know if that fear resonates. Do you make excuses because you're afraid to hurt somebody? The other fear is getting uncomfortable, pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone. In my courses, sometimes in my 21 days to accelerate your confidence, and even in the challenge, I had people go live on social media in the group. It's uncomfortable as anything, but I push them because they need to get out of their comfort zone. So we have that fear of getting uncomfortable. So we make excuses. So if you're an introvert and somebody invites you to a party, and you know that it's going to feel weird for you, you don't really know how to talk to people, all of that kind of stuff, you make an excuse just not to go because you don't want to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. So there's a fear of getting uncomfortable or being uncomfortable. So let me know if that one resonates with you. Another reason that we make excuses is because we are afraid of being judged. This is a really, really big one. So we make excuses because we're afraid of what people are going to think of us. So we might make an excuse as to why we did something when it might be a complete lie, because we want to fit in. So we're scared of being judged. So say for instance, I'll give you a little example from my life. When I first came out as a spiritual teacher, or just in spiritual in general as a psychic medium, we'll just put that out there. When I came out as a psychic medium, I was scared shitless to tell people. I was a CPA before this, guys. I was an accountant. This is a total drastic change. And I was scared to let people know because I was afraid of the judgment. So I would make excuses for not writing on my personal profile page on Facebook. Now you guys are here and I'm live, right? But in the very beginning, I wouldn't do that because I was scared. I was scared of what people were going to think of me coming from a CPA going into a psychic medium. So I made excuses to myself as to why I can't post on my personal profile page on Facebook. Okay. So we make excuses because we're afraid that somebody will judge us. Another example of this is if you have anxiety and somebody invites you to do something, and you know, like say somebody invites you to go on a trip and you don't travel that much because it gives you anxiety. The flying gives you anxiety. Staying with other people you don't know gives you anxiety. Like you have a lot of anxiety. Yet instead of saying that, I'm really sorry, I can't do that, I have anxiety, you might make up an excuse that, oh, I have other plans or something like that. But we're making up excuses because you're afraid of what other people are going to think of you. So somebody in the Facebook group says, yes, I make excuses. I never want to hurt another person. Yep, I'm uncomfortable, introvert, never want to be judged. See, yes, exactly. Yes, 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 I see. Okay, this is resonating. Awesome. So another reason, another fear that we have of why we make excuses is because it's unknown. And again, remember, I'm talking about the ego, which is it wants to keep you in your comfort zone. And when something is unknown and you don't know what the outcome is, like it's very easy for us to make excuses and stay exactly where we are. Now, this will go for, I know I work with a lot of women and men who have now ventured into their own healing business. They've learned energy healing with me, and now they're actually opening up their own business online, I think even offline. But the fear of the unknown, is it going to work out? Am I good enough? Is it going to actually be profitable? Whatever those thoughts are in your head, that fear of the unknown keeps you stuck and keeps you making excuses. So, oh no, that's not for me. Oh, I can't do that. You know, all of these things come in your head and you just make excuses as to why you can't do it. But in fact, it's the fear of the unknown. So are you seeing a correlation? I'm going to go through a couple more, but are you seeing the correlation that these excuses, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're procrastinating. You procrastinate and you're lazy and you're not motivated because of the underlying fears. So it's really, really important to understand, because we always think it's us. We always blame ourselves, guilt ourselves for, you know, not doing the workout today or not eating healthy today. But the next one is going to kind of blow your mind here, because this really blew my mind. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to save this one for the last. Let's go with the fear of failure. So you have a fear of failing, so you don't try. And that's going with this, that's going with the motivation and the laziness and the procrastinating and all of that stuff. So if you're constantly judging yourself and telling yourself, right, we get down on ourselves so much when we don't do what we're supposed to do. But what if it's not you, it's your mind, it's your ego, because there's a subconscious limiting belief or a fear that you are not good enough, or a fear that you're going to fail. So when we feel like we're going to fail, we just don't try. So that's a really, really big one. Cheryl says, being an accountant, I totally get that. Totally isn't consistent with my client's image of me. Yeah, you think? Psychic medium. It's funny though, a lot of my clients like actually wanted to work with me after that in this realm. So it's like, that's so funny. All right. So the last fear I want to talk about here is, and this is a huge one because it's a lot, I don't think it's thought of that much, but one of the reasons why your life is not changing, why you're not losing weight, why you're not going after what you want, why you're not getting the business or starting the business, why you're not attracting the people into your lives, or maybe even going after a relationship, right, is the fear of success. It's like, well, I want to be successful. Everyone thinks that they want to be successful, but there's a lot of limiting beliefs that come along with being successful. And there's a lot of fear that, you know, charges those limited beliefs, because some people are afraid of success. And I'll tell you why, because it gets us out of our comfort zone. If we have lived our whole lives living one way, struggling, poor, broke, being abused, right? That fear of actually changing that into success, into being happy. If we've always been negative thinking and now we're going to be happy, we're getting out of that comfort zone. So even though success seems happy and seems like what everybody wants and everybody says that they want, our mind can be telling us very different things, because success can bring different things to our lives that we're not ready for, or what we think we're not ready for. So these are really kind of the fears that come along with these excuses that you guys are making. So let me know in the comments which one of these fears really resonates with you, okay? Because the more that you make these excuses, the longer you're going to stay stuck and in pain. So like I said, I wrote them today. Like, I hear all the excuses of why people aren't investing in the program that I have that is proven to change your life. Where it's, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I'm not sure it'll work for me, I'm too old. There's like any excuse you can come up with, I've seen it. So the question is like, are you ready to stop making these excuses? And are you ready to stop focusing on these outer things like jobs, relationships, and also, what else did I say? Jobs, relationships, weight, body image, all of these things. Are you stopped? Because those are the outer things, but it's inside deeper. These are the fears that are keeping you away from getting what you want in those areas. So let me see what you guys are saying here. So I think I have to do this. All right. Yes, you just described my fear. Yes. Age too old. Yep. I've been doing it for 4 years. Vivian says, very well said. And the truth. Yeah, I told you I was just dropping some truth bombs tonight. Catherine, as much as I've tried to work on my fears, I still have many of these, but I don't have the success fear. Well, that is good. Blanche says, it must be my fear of success, fear of failure, fear of success for me. I know I work with a lot of business women who can't get to that next level in their business because they're afraid of success. So we have to really dig deep into that. Jamie says, that's me, the fear of failure and the fear of success. Yep. Vivian, everything you said was true. Thanks. Lori, I also fear success. My fear is that the man I love will never love me again. He's a narcissist, but I have a fear of losing him forever. Yikes. Girl, you need to get in touch with me. Actually, stay tuned because I have something for you. And then Becky says, fear of being hurt or betrayed. Yeah, so we keep ourselves stuck and we make excuses for not going out and finding that love because we are afraid of getting hurt again. And this is very, very common in women and men that have suffered from toxic relationships because we're afraid of getting hurt again. We close ourselves off. And if you're on my YouTube channel, you can go and look there. I have a video under the live section about, are you closed off to love? So you really kind of want to look at that. So if you have a fear of success, which is getting into that relationship, you're going to have to look to see, are you afraid of getting hurt again? So if you're afraid of getting hurt again, you're going to be afraid of that successful relationship. All right. So awesome. Lori says, I have felt that. I worked through that. Awesome. Okay. So, so one thing my dad always said, I want to bring him up because I love him. So we had a rocky relationship. Well, we didn't really have a rocky relationship. We had no relationship during one part of my life. But my dad has these like wisdom things. I want to write a book of all the things he says. But what he says to me, and this, I live by this. I say it all the time to myself. I say it to my kids as well, where he says, don't tell me why you can't. Tell me how you can. And I want that to sit with you guys because it makes a huge difference when you're making these excuses. So don't tell me why you can't do something. Tell me how you can. And like I said, I live my life by this. So this is why I'm really good at figuring things out. Even in my other business, it was like figuring things out. And that's what I bring into my healing business is when I work with my clients, we figure this shit out. Like we figure out where's the root. We figure out where is this coming from and we reprogram it and release the energy around it. So take that with you here is don't tell me why you can't. Tell me how you can. And there's many, many ways that you can change your life, but we stick to the stuff that we can't do because of the fears that we have. So just remember that. Okay, so let's change gears here. So let's talk about if we have these fears, what to do about them. So who wants to hear about that? Who wants to hear the goods? Missy says, I've learned so much from Danielle's. Every dollar was well spent. Awesome. Thank you, girl. Lori, I felt that. I worked through that. Judgment and humiliation, Sherry says. Cynthia, yes, definitely. Okay. So the first thing that you have to do in order to stop making these excuses and actually make the change is that you have to be aware that you're making these excuses. This is holding yourself accountable. It's saying to yourself, crap, I just made an excuse. Or, ooh, I really want to make an excuse because I'm afraid of doing something. So you have to be aware that you're even doing this behavior. So how many were you aware before tonight that you were always making these excuses, why you can't do something, why it's not for you, why you can't get out of your comfort zone? Like, were you aware of this? So the first step, and this is in every course that I teach, I always teach awareness is always the first step. So you always have to be aware that you even have this behavior and that you're doing this to yourself and that you're keeping yourself stuck because you're using the excuses. The second thing here that you have to do is you have to be aware that there's something going on deeper than why you can't eat healthy every day, why you're not working out every day, why you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing every day, right? There's something going on deeper. It's not an outer or it's not a daily problem. It's the fears that you have and the energy around it. We're going to get into that too. So absolutely, yes, I do. I'm aware, but I'm taking baby steps. Good job, Cheryl. Yes, I was a little over 2 months ago. Deborah says, yes, aware, but not doing well on the change. Lori, I was aware, just thought I was the only one doing this to myself, afraid to admit it. No, this is very common. It is very common. You guys are not alone in this. We are human. We are human. And that ego is a human thing. It's in our human mind. It keeps us safe. It's our fight or flight, right? So it wants to keep us in our comfort zone. But sometimes the problem is that our comfort zone isn't really comfortable. It's painful. It's overweight. It's negative thinking, it's suicidal thoughts, it's depression, it's anxiety. And as crazy as this sounds, that's our comfort zone. So we need to get out of that comfort zone so that you can change your life. But you have to push yourself to make sure that you're okay with being uncomfortable. So that's awesome. Lori says, I know it's deeper now that I have found this group. Awesome. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to go into here is that we're aware that you're making these excuses. And now you're aware that there's a deeper issue. It's the fear. It's the fear that's keeping you back. Now I'm even going to go a little bit deeper. That fear is coming from your energy and your mind. Okay. So really where it's coming from is your past. So things have happened in your past, and I usually bring it back all the way to childhood because believe me, it usually goes all the way back to childhood somewhere. That something has happened in that past to create these fears in your mind. Because fear is an illusion. It's just an illusion. It's something that you think is going to happen, okay? And anxiety comes from fear. So if you suffer from a lot of anxiety, you're suffering from a lot of fear. And if you have these fears, they go back somewhere in the past where something has happened to create that fear. So what I suggest that you do is that you have to heal that part of you that has been in the past that has created these fears. Let me know if that's making sense to you guys, okay? So what happens is you want to heal, and that word seems so like negative, and like a lot of people will make excuses around that word alone because heal does not sound very pleasant, right? It's like, ooh, you're in pain, but we try to pretend that we're not in pain, but we are. So again, you came on here saying that you wanted to change something in your life. So if you want to change it, that means that there's some pain around it. Maybe it's actually in the body, maybe it's in the mind, but there's somewhere around that you're in some kind of pain. And the thing is that we really don't make change until the pain is too hard. And I want you to think about this real quick before I get into this last part. But when the pain, so we said this, right? When we try to make a change, it's uncomfortable. So what happens is that in order for us to really, really make this change stick and to really do it, is that our pain has to get so bad that it's actually worse than the uncomfortable feelings that we're going to get to make the change. So say, for instance, I'll give you a little example from my life. I have a lot of food issues. So I kept eating. I have celiac disease. So I kept cheating on it. And not until the point where my body was shutting down and doing things that were just crazy, not until that point when it got so painful in my body did I actually make the change to go completely 100% gluten-free, right? Because going gluten-free, damn, wheat is in everything. So like, I mean, this was like 9 years ago. So going gluten-free was not very easy 9 years ago. We didn't have all the food out in the supermarkets like they do now with gluten-free stuff. So, and it was in everything. So I literally had to eat like nothing, right? Or things that I usually didn't eat. And that was really, really uncomfortable for me. But not until the pain of my body shutting down did I actually make the change. So I want you to be aware of that. And I want you to ask yourself that question. Like, are you going to wait until all of that pain, all that suffering that you're having is greater than the actual uncomfortable feelings? Or can you take the action right now to jump into those uncomfortable feelings so that you don't have to feel and deal with all of the pain that whatever you want to change your life to? Okay. So think about that. So now is the time, get the help that you need for whatever you're trying to do in your life. Get the help that you need and get it from somebody else that actually has already done it. So I'm just going to say that in whatever area that you're trying to heal. Okay. So let's jump back now. So these fears, so we got to be aware that we're making the excuses. We got to be aware that that there's something deeper. We've got to be aware of how much pain we're in. So because and what happens then is like the universe takes control. And this is when the night of my marriage broke up happened. I'm sure that you guys have had those like life-shattering tower moments that we talk about in tarot where everything seems like it's just falling apart. That's because you waited too long. You waited too long and you didn't make the decisions or the changes that you need to make in your life. And then the universe steps in and it's like all hell breaks loose. So don't go that far. Okay. Don't let it get that far. So when you feel like there's something deeper, when you know that you're in a lot of pain, it's time to heal the past. So I've said this before, so you might have heard this before, but as we go through traumas in our past, and traumas, I know it sounds bad, but can be very little things. Like you're having too many siblings and not getting enough attention when you grew up. It could be having a parent that worked all the time. It could be having a drug addict parent that was around but wasn't really around, or put people in front of you, right? And put you last. So there's all these things that can happen in childhood that tells you that you're not good enough, which then can create these fears of failure, can create the fears of success, can create the fear of feeling judged, can create the fear of being uncomfortable, can create the fear of hurting people. Okay, especially if you had to take care of your parents or felt like you couldn't be yourself around your parents because they were delicate. So all of these things in childhood can create these fears. So it's important for you to face the past. These are the bigger things. These are the bigger issues. It's not the weight. It's not the job. It's not the relationship. It's here. It's within you that you've got to let go of. You got to let go of the energy, because every time that those things happen that I just said, there's energy that's stored in our energy field. And this is the only thing that changed my life, was the energy healing. And also changing the way that you think. So I had worked a lot on my mindset through therapy, but then I needed to release the energy that was still stuck there. And this is why I felt like I was good enough for a relationship. I knew I deserved way more in my relationships, but I kept attracting these toxic people into my life because I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel like I can set boundaries. I didn't see my worth. Right? But I knew it, but I didn't see it. That's the conscious brain knowing it. It's knowing, this is your higher self, like knowing that there's this beautiful soul, yet we didn't feel it inside of our bodies because of our past and our childhood. So let me know if that makes sense. So basically what I wrote here was you have to heal yourself and your energy so your courage and your drive is more than your fear. And I had to read that so it gets out, right? So you get yourself to a place of confidence and courage that overrides the fear that you have, so that you can keep pushing yourself. Because every day I do things that I'm scared of. I just did a podcast today that's going out to probably 1 million people, right? So it's crazy. But when you get that self-worth and you create your boundaries and you know who you are, you push through the fear. You're always going to have fear. The fear is always going to be there. But the more that you heal, the more that you face that fear head on and you push past it. And if you look at people and you compare yourself to other people, which I don't suggest doing, but I know that we all do it, right? When you compare yourself to somebody else and you wonder, well, why are they doing it, but I can't? It's because they've worked on themselves enough to then push through the fear. And maybe you haven't. Okay. So in saying that, I'm going to invite you. So if this is resonating with you and you are ready to really stop making those excuses and heal the part of you that is holding you back from the life that you want. If you had told me 4 years ago on the night that everything went to crap in my marriage, that if you guys read my article in Authority magazine, where I basically said, like, we waited like 6 years for my ex-husband to reach top pay in his work. And then 2 weeks after he hit top pay, my marriage fell apart. And it was like devastating to me because we waited so long for it. So if you had told me 4 years ago when that happened, that I would be here making more money than I've ever made before, living in this house, like, I would have said that you're crazy. But when you heal yourself, you push through the fears and you push yourself further than you ever thought you could ever go. You go for the jobs that you didn't think you could get. You learn things that you might not have learned before when you were making all these excuses. You evolve and you grow. Okay. So if you are ready to stop making excuses and really change your life, I'm going to invite you. We did this last week, a free coaching call, and it was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to give you a link here. It's on Wednesday. Okay, so this is a call that I can actually, and it's a group coaching call, but it's also very private. There's no replays for these. So if you're going to sign up, make sure you can be there live because it is very private and I'm not going to send that kind of information out. So if you are looking to really change your life, if you're looking to address these fears, if you're looking to go back to your childhood and heal all the stuff that you think is not a big deal, but it actually is, it's holding you back in so many ways, and releasing all of that energy can push you forward. So if you're really ready for that and you're ready to stop making those excuses, join me on this call. I'm going to walk you through a few things. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. This is not a webinar. It's not a training. It's not any of that. We're diving deep on these calls. I want you to realize where all of this stuff is coming from for you so that you can change your life. And by the end of the call, you're going to have a healing blueprint to be able to follow for your healing journey. Because I know a lot of you have reached out to me and, you know, you're basically lost and you don't know where to go and what to do in order to feel better. So if you're suffering from anxiety, if you're suffering from depression, if you're suffering from toxic relationships, you keep attracting these toxic people in your life. If you're an overgiver, if you're a people pleaser, like, this is going to be for you. If you're looking to lose weight, but you can't get there, and yet you suffered from these toxic relationships and things are negative around you, this is also for you. So find that in the comments. I know if you're in my Facebook group, for some reason, it doesn't post in the Facebook group. So I will go ahead and post that after this, but just be aware. All right. So, yep. So Lori, go ahead and sign up. I'm not sure if you're in the group or not, but I will send you the link. So, yeah, so I hope you guys take advantage of that. Like I said, it's free. It's going to give you a lot of clarity. So definitely join us on Wednesday. So let's recap. Excuses are BS. They really are. They're keeping you stuck. They're not helping you. They're keeping you in your comfort zone. You've got to let go of the fears. Fear that's hurting someone, fear of being uncomfortable, fear of being judged, fear of the unknown, fear of the failure, fear of success. Let it go. And what my dad always says, don't tell me why you can't, tell me how you can. So tell me how you can show up on Wednesday for this free coaching call. Tell me how you can get help to support you in your journey of getting to wherever you want to get and whatever you want to change in your life. Tell me how you can. Better yet, tell yourself. All right. I hope this has been helpful. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you are on YouTube, give me some love. If you're on Facebook, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, follow me over in the Facebook group, Turning Pain into Power. Or if you're over in my Facebook group, follow me over up on YouTube, okay? I'm trying to get some tarot videos out this month, so cross your fingers. I think I will be able to do that this weekend. But much love to all of you. I really wish for change for you if that's what you're wishing for. Stop making those excuses. Know that you're worth it and start taking action today. All right. Much love. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.